And recording. So, Puscifer. I've been so out of the loop lately with the whole pandemic thing where I'm not paying attention to like any news other than like political bullshit. Um, so a lot of things have fallen under the radar for me. And I had no idea that Puscifer was going to release a new album, and it's actually coming out in a week. It's going to be called Existential Reckoning. Now, a few months ago, I remember they released like a single, Apocalyptical, the one with the red background, and I think there's a bunch of dicks hitting Donald Trump in the face or something like that. It's been a while since I've watched that, but I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was like a one-off kind of thing. Come to find out that they actually released a song called The Underwhelming, which is a fantastic name. They released that like a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. So since that slipped through the cracks, I want to hear it. There's not a real actual video for it. This is from the Puscifer YouTube page, I believe. And it's just the visualizer video. So I'm just going to listen to it. I hope it's awesome. I love Puscifer. I love Maynard. So I'm hoping this is good. Go. That artwork.
Glorious friction awakens the cognizant and mindful.
I'm going to pause it there because it's about the halfway point. I can't tell if the drumming is an electric drum kit or just all electric, or if it's a mishmash of an acoustic kit with like some electric pieces like at the top, kind of like the guy from Dream Theater uses. I say the guy like one of the most famous drummers, but his name escapes me right now. So, Maynard is interesting, just in the way he creates almost a separate persona for each of his three bands, and he's approaching them very, very differently. The bass on this, when it initially started, is really funky, really cool. and then he's going really high pitched, which is strange because I know there's a bunch of old Tool songs that he can't perform anymore because like his voice can't hit the notes anymore. So for him to go so high on this, like he must be confident that he can hit those notes. But it's cool. Uh, the instrumentation on this sounds kind of minimal, but it also sounds like very electronic leaning, and it almost has kind of like an vintage 80s kind of sound to it, which is cool. And one of the lines that struck out to me, or stuck out to me, excuse me, I think he said the king has new clothes or the emperor has new clothes. So, well, what's that story? It is the emperor's new clothes, where like a tailor convinces an emperor or a king that he made him an outfit, but he didn't make him anything, and he just walks around naked because he thinks his clothes are invisible, which I guess is a shot at Trump, much like Apocalyptical was as well. So this, I think I saw him on the Joe Rogan podcast. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. I saw it today, but I don't know if it was from today or yesterday. And he mentioned something about this, the music being done like early. So it's maybe a year ago. If Apocalyptical was released in like May, I think. This was probably like at the end of last year or before that. But even so, like this is very political sounding in pieces. I'm not hearing all the lyrics, but this is kind of cool. Let me backtrack a little bit more. Go. You know what's funny is that this is kind of his joke band, especially with all the costuming that he does. But they put out quality music, and what this is reminding me a lot of, especially that last riff that was kind of repeating throughout the song, but ended the song. reminds me a lot of when David Bowie covered the Pixies. He did the song Cactus on the album Heathen, which is my favorite David Bowie album, by the way, which seems like it should be sacrilege since it was from like 2000 or around then, and not any of his earlier stuff. But that's beside the point. Yeah, this had like a really vintage kind of sound to it, and it was really funky. Like it's not metal, and I know I've been covering metal in most of the videos that I've been doing on my channel, but I love Maynard, and Puscifer is just really great. And this actually sounded really, really good. Maynard is really interesting. I'm surprised he has the time to still make music, because just had a Tool album not too long ago. I think there was just a Perfect Circle album not too long ago. So now he hit the trifecta with this one. So it's been, I think, 5 years since the last Puscifer album, and like 10 years from the last Tool album. A Perfect Circle is kind of like, what was it, like 4 years? Or was it more? I don't remember. But with his winery and all the other shit that he does, his jujitsu, I think he just had a surgery too. I think, on the Rogan podcast, he was talking about having like a hip replacement or something. Yeah, I'm surprised he has the time for all this stuff. His wine is very good, by the way. He also just started making mead, I think. So if you've read his biography, his autobiography, what is it? Fuck. It's like 10 feet away from me in my bookshelf there, but I can't even read the title. My eyesight's very bad. But let's focus on the song. It wasn't too elaborate, but the groove was there. And when you have the groove, that's really all you need. And like, I couldn't pick out all the lyrics just because I try not to. Because I enjoy the frequencies and the attack and the way artists use their voice as an instrument. Which is why that high frequency that he went into, the higher range, it was strange at first, even though he does it all the time. But as the song progressed, it sort of mellowed out, and the funk started going upwards, like the frequencies of the actual riff started going up. So he started to kind of meet in the middle. So towards the end, you were just in like this good headspace, this good groove, and the mix just sounded awesome. This is a lot more electronic than I was expecting, but it's a cool sound, and I'm actually pretty hyped for the album release in a week. So, Apocalyptical, apparently not a one-off. This is a single, and now once the album is actually released, like, I am curious to see what the gems are gonna be, because the singles, it's the more accessible ones. This is a shorter song, 5 minutes. It's not too long, not too short. I think my favorite Puscifer song is what is it, The Remedy? So I'm hoping he has more songs on the new album that have that kind of style or that kind of flavor. But either way, I'm super excited. By the way, that sound that you heard was my phone. My notification sound that I have is the Death Clock Death Tone, which freaks people out every time I get a notification.